Okay, today we've got a new firmware release for the Panasonic GH6 and that's version 2.3. So today is the 11th of July and this is the day when it was released. So essentially it's kind of like last night if you're here in the UK, but in America it was yesterday. So we're just going to run through, we're going to install it, and then afterwards we'll have a look and see what kind of features have been added, and you can just kind of follow along. I've done other videos on firmware updates, but essentially to do this one you're going to need to be on camera version 2.2. So what we can do is we'll jump into the camera and I'll show you where you can just double check this quickly. So if you jump into the camera, we'll go over to the spanner and then come down into the spanner with the three dots underneath it, and you can see here we've got firmware version, and we're just going to jump into that, and you'll see down here, so the one we're looking at is just the body firmware. So you can see I've got body firmware 2.2, and that's the one we need to update this. Like I say, if you're on the one below, which is version 2, or anything even lower than that, you'll have to jump into this video up in the corner, and that will sort of show you how to get all up to date. It's unlikely you'll be on, you can't be on version 2.1, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but the last firmware update did 2.1 and 2.2, so you'll be on 2 or below essentially. So sort of up to date, we've had about 5 firmware updates for the GH6, and the last one was sort of last September. So we're it's sort of a fairly overdue update, but it looks like there's some quite good bits in it. So we'll just run through and we'll quickly have a look what's there. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take out the cards that I actually shoot on. So we'll just get rid of those, and I'll put in, if you've seen any of the other videos, I've just got a standard card that I use for formatting and doing firmware updates. So I'm just going to come in, and we're in the same menu again, but we're in the wrench or spanner, and then we jump up to the sort of like rectangle with the arrow in it. It's the card file menu, and then go to card format. Obviously, if you're going to do this, make sure that you're A, happy to erase the card, and B, that you're erasing the right card. If you've got 2 cards in there, make sure that you're deleting the files from the correct one. I've only got that little SD card in there, and that's fine. I'm happy to just delete all of that. Like I say, you can always just quickly look in the side of the camera, pop it out. It's not recording anything, it doesn't make any difference. Like I say, I just use this tiny card. Go back, card format, and then I'm happy with that, so I'll just hit yes. Okay, and that's done, and then we're ready to drop our files onto here. So what I'll do is I'll pop the card, just wait till it's written, drop it out, and then we'll jump over into the computer. I'll drop it into the computer and we'll quickly grab the files we need. Okay, so you can see this is the Panasonic firmware page for updates. I'll leave a link to both of these pages. We've got the one that sort of tells us about the updates, and then the actual firmware page. So we'll just quickly run through what's on there. We've got this firmware update. Really, it mostly consists of things for external recording. So you've got some higher resolutions over HDMI output, and there's also some support there for Blackmagic RAW, which it's great. I don't use Blackmagic RAW, but I do use external monitors. Although it's not possible to output to what they've offered, that's fine. There's some other little features in there that I'm interested in getting, which they don't actually feature here. So we'll kind of go in and we'll have a look through there. If we click on firmware update, it essentially just takes us through to that same page. And then here you can see we've got a new update 2.3, and then we just click on the download, and then you'll actually see up in here we've got the telling us about if you haven't updated to 2.2, which we've already discussed, make sure you get up to that. Again, that's linked up in the corner of the video, so if you need to get up to 2.2, just do that. This is the one we're interested in, so click here for the update procedure for 2.3. And then you can actually see here when you come through to this one, there's actually some additional things. So we do have the Blackmagic recording, which is great, and then we've got the increased resolutions over HDMI. And then we've also got this one, which is interesting to me. So it says we've got higher recording frame rates when we're connected to the DCC17 and the AC10, which I do have both of. So I'll be giving that a test and seeing what's possible there. They've not really given a great deal of detail there, but it says exceeding 60 frames a second. So we'll have a look and see what we can do there. And I'll also cover the video repair feature as well. I'll probably split these into 2 different videos, because otherwise this is probably going to get a bit long and boring. It probably already is at this point. So we'll just crack on and we'll get this done. So we've got basically the all the information is there for the update. We've got the procedure for the update and the download. So we'll hit the download. You've just got to accept the terms of agreement, which obviously you can read. You can see it's just downloading up there. And while we're doing that, we'll just jump onto the... No, not that page. What are we looking for? Oh, if we go... Oh, I've just lost the pop-up. There we go. So it's back here again. If we jump into this, and we'll just go on the procedure update page as well. And then you can see here, again, we've done this in the past. It tells you to have a fully charged battery. Mine's more or less, it's just dropped into 2 bars, but it's, you know, I'm sure it will be fine. I don't think this is a huge update, but you know, follow that. Put a decent battery in there that's got a good charge in it. I'm using the stock battery, so I know it's going to last a long time. And then it's saying prepare a memory card. So you know, I've already formatted my card. We've already done that. And then we've got to check we're on the right version, download and extract the file, which we're doing right now. And then we've got to just jump into the firmware version and get it updated. So we'll go in and do that. There's nothing special in there for this. Okay, so if you've watched any of these before, the videos about these updates, essentially this happens every time with these. It tries to export it. And it can't. It's fine. We just need the bin file. So the bin file is the body update file. So if we jump into downloads, and then you can see right here, we want the bin file, not the zip file. So if we just drop the bin file, this is the root of the card here. So you can see it just says Lumix. So I formatted it in the camera. Drop that in. It's actually quite a big update file, to be honest, nearly 200 meg. Drop that into the root, and then all we'll do is we'll pop the card out, and then we'll jump back into back to the camera. So if I jump out of there. Okay, so now we've got firmware 2.3 on the card. We'll just stick our card in that's got the firmware in there. Switch the camera back on. Jump into the menu. We're going back into the same place, so the wrench, the spanner with the 3 dots underneath it. Firmware version. Oops. Sorry, I did that a bit too quick. You can even see what I did. Under firmware version, where it says firmware update, if you click OK, it will just start whirring away, and then you can see firmware update. It says it's for the body, and it's going up to version 2.3, and then we're happy with that, so we'll just hit start update. And then I'm not totally sure how long this is going to take. I didn't think it was a massive update, but the file is actually a bit bigger than I thought. It could go on for a couple of minutes. I'll just speed this bit up. Obviously you don't have to watch it updating. Okay, now the camera's just resetting itself. So the camera's done a reboot, we're out of the firmware update, and then it's always best just to leave it a second just to double check it's not going to sort of kick back in and do anything, but I'm fairly certain that's all done. So we'll just hit the menu button, click into firmware version again. So we've just, again, the wrench with the 3 dots under it is the others menu. firmware version. Let's just double check we're in the right firmware now, and you can see we're up to firmware 2.3, and that's always the way you can go in and just check the firmware version. But we also know that there's another feature on this, so we could even just sort of peek into here and double check if we've got our I'm not 100% sure where this is going to be. There we go. So under here we've got the you can see we've got the video repair tool now as well. So we actually, obviously there we've got the new features. So yeah, that's great. We're already updated, and like I say, if you jump into the next video or two and we'll look through a couple of these features. Like I said, I haven't got a Blackmagic View Assist, so I can't really show you any of that, but I'd seen a post by, I think it was Red Frame Tech, that said they were doing some bits with the Blackmagic. I think they were using the Video Assist 12G, so check out that channel, and you know, if you're interested in Blackmagic Raw, and he'll show you sort of some of the bits you can do in the new firmware update. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing more of the features, just jump into the next one. And if you found this helpful, please give this video a like. If you want to see more about the Panasonic GH6 or Lumix cameras in general, check out the playlist on this channel, and please subscribe.